ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I figured it would be good to have a little bit of a change of sets, change of scenery, but welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. This is the video that is both in some ways exciting, in some ways really sad, and in other ways, I don't even know. I'm just going to jump right into it. So basically when it came down to it, we were given a decision to fix the Mustang or to total it. But to fix it, we would have gotten a reduced amount of money, and I would have had to put in a couple grand of my own money to fix it, and at that point you have a car that's been in an accident, and the estimate they gave us, it would probably end up being higher after they found other things from working on it. So, versus the totaling amount that they would give us to total the car, which was really close to exactly what the car was worth. So it made the decision really easy, and so we had to total it. I say had to, it made no sense not to. So now we're sitting with this lump of money, and I'm in the market for a new Mustang. I want a new Mustang. I just want to replace the Mustang with another 2015 or newer V6, maybe EcoBoost, but leaning towards V6. And because of all of the COVID stuff and the economy being crazy, that means cars are crazy right now. And so not only are there not a lot of Mustangs, but they're all way more expensive than they were when we were looking for my previous car. So now we're talking about getting a replacement Mustang is still going to cost a couple grand out of my own pocket on top of this totaling amount to get another Mustang. And that's just for the sticker price. Then you have to pay the taxes and the registration fees and whatever. So after all of that, it made sense to start looking at other areas. So while I really truly wanted another 2015 or newer V6 Mustang, I was now in the market to look for just a new sports car. So I looked at the Subaru BRZ, the Toyota 86, the Scion FRS, Nissan 370Z, the Hyundai Genesis, Camaros, a lot of different cars, and I started going to look at some of them, and a lot of them had kind of done the same thing that the Mustangs had done. They were a lot higher than they were a year ago or a year and a half ago, which is when I got my last car. So I started looking for other cars, and I kind of just mentioned to my dad one car that I thought looked kind of cool. I knew nothing about them, and I just kind of mentioned it. And he started looking at them and realized that there's a lot of them for well within my price range, to the point that I would actually save money. Instead of having to spend extra money on top of the totaling amount, plus some to get a car, it would be within the totaling amount, and I would save some of that just to pocket. Started looking at these. I still haven't revealed the car yet. But started looking at these and started to think that maybe it made a little bit of sense to look into them at least. Test drove one, thought it was kind of cool, kind of, just different. But yeah, I'm about to reveal it. It is not a sports car, but it is a fun car, and it's very different from the Mustang, and I really miss the Mustang. But this is better than a Honda Civic. Introducing my new to me (2013) Hyundai Veloster Turbo. So this car is obviously very different from the Mustang. It has two doors on this side. It's taller. It's a hatchback. It's a Hyundai. It's a turbocharged inline 4-cylinder versus the V6 that I had before. This car is very different from the Mustang, and from driving it the past 3 or 4 days, I have learned even more that it is very different from the Mustang. Not in a bad way, it's just extremely different. Like I said, it's not a sports car, it's just kind of a fun car. It handles like a go-kart, and because of how it rides, really feels like a go-kart. As far as the door situation, it's basically a coupe that they just kind of forced a back door into. So it's only on this side. it's a 3-door car. If you looked at it from this side, you would think 4-door, but if you go to the driver's side, over here on the driver's side, it looks like a coupe. 1 door, my camera's not focusing. 1 door, no door. This is a 3-door car. Now, 3 doors is pretty weird, so on this side, well, we have that door, we also have this, which basically just gives us access to a very Mustang-like back seat. It's just got a door. Whereas the Mustang, you had to move the seat forward to get people in the back seat. This just has a small door to get people back there. One of the actually really cool things about this car that I actually really like is it's finished in a matte gray. How many cars do you see that are matte finished? And if they are matte finished, it's usually a vinyl wrap. But no, this is a matte gray finish, but it's paint. This is matte gray paint, which is pretty cool. As far as the inside of the car, one upgrade from the Mustang is it does have leather seats, which means it has heated seats. It has gray, it's black seats, but it has gray running here and then up the side, and then this little stripe is also gray. It says Turbo on the seat in gray on both because it is the Veloster Turbo. This is probably one of the cooler things on the car is these door handles, and well, this handle, and then that's the actual door handle. But also you'll see that there's 3 window operators because there's 3 doors. Steering wheel's pretty basic. It does have paddle shifters, but they are very small, very, very tiny. The middle of the gauge cluster says Veloster. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Right there it says Veloster, and there's a little bit of silver trimmer on that center display. Once you climb into the car, you have a decent sized touchscreen here, and then this whole display kind of does this and centers around the start button, which is pretty cool. The floor mats say Veloster, along with the door seals. Kind of like the Mustang, except here it's a raised Veloster, very subtle, but it's there. There's a whole bunch of just small changes. This is like the main feature on the interior, and the same silver trim here is of course matched on the doors, and also matches with this gray. It's an automatic, not a manual, but you do have to kind of move it around versus the Mustang was straight back. So you kick it into drive, and then to put it into sport mode to use the paddle shifters, you kick it over to the right, you just kick drive over to the right, and then that activates sport mode with the paddle shifters. Or you can go like this forward whenever it's over here. If you go forward, that's upshift, and that's downshift. So if you want to shift from over here but not a manual, you can do that. I don't know why you would ever do that. If you're gonna shift and it not be a manual, you should use paddles. If you're gonna shift and it's over here, it should be a manual. In the back, it has some kind of cool tail lights. It says Veloster underneath the Hyundai logo. Again, it is a hatchback, which is really weird for me, especially coming off the Mustang. This whole thing raises up, and what I can say is trunk space. Trunk space is loads better than the Mustang, plus those back seats fold down. The back seats folded down in the Mustang, but didn't really give you that much more space. So whenever we're talking about going to college, that'll be nice. And then under there, there's not a spare tire, it's just a foam kit with an air pump and some other stuff. So you could even take that out and get even more space, little hidden space underneath this carpet. But yeah, and then we have this privacy shield because obviously there's a lot of glass back here. This whole panel's glass, and then up there is glass. So you could see straight in there if that wasn't there. So it's just attached to some strings. Simple mechanical engineering, bringing that up whenever that goes up. Kind of neat, but it does look kind of weird just sitting up like that. If we bring this down, you'll see that it says Turbo right here in red, which is outlined in silver, which is right next to a tail light that is red with a kind of silver turn signal underneath it. So it kind of ties in, matches, and you can see how that looks like that. We have some side reflectors and whatnot, but down here, this is one of the cooler things. It has a rear diffuser. By this I mean it has diffuser fins, which I was gonna put on my Mustang, but they're stock on this. But that's not the only thing. Let's open up the garage and then get a cold start, and then you'll see the other cool thing about the back. much for the cold start. I have been driving a decent amount today, so it's definitely not cold. But that's the other cool thing. Right there, it has dual center-mounted exhaust tips, so you can see the diffuser and then the exhaust tips are right here in the center. I think personally that's one of the coolest things about the car. Shut the door and you'll see all of our displays are up now. So we have RPMs obviously and then our miles per hour. So right now I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the specs and how they compared to the Mustang. We've talked about looks and everything, but specs. It has the same top speed as the Mustang, which I will never reach on the road. Even on a drag strip, you won't reach the top speed of your vehicle. You need like miles to get to that. So, but same theoretical top speed. Its 0 to 60 time is a second slower than the Mustang. So it has a turbocharged inline 4-cylinder. The Mustang had a V6. This car makes 201 horsepower. The Mustang made 305 horsepower. This car weighs about 1,000 pounds less than the Mustang, just about. It's like 850, but just taking out a few things here and there would get that to 1,000. So 100 horsepower less than the Mustang, but 1,000 pounds lighter than the Mustang. It is front-wheel drive, which means no donuts, no drifting, none of that. It's just not possible. Yeah, just no, it's not happening. The Mustang, you could do donuts if you really wanted to. This, not gonna happen. With the garage open now, you can kind of see the interior a little bit better. You can see this, so that's it in drive. Also, the doors lock whenever you put it out of park. If I put it in park, they unlock. Park, there you go. So if we kick it in the drive and then kick it over to the right, now it's in sport mode. You can see the little S right there, and paddle shifting mode. You can see it went up to 2. So we're in second gear now, and then downshift, and we're in first gear. Obviously, we're just sitting here, but you can upshift to second if you wanted to launch from second for some reason, or you can downshift to first. So we can do the same thing right here. So we're in first gear. Now we're in second gear. And I'm gonna do it off camera, downshift. And that was just me bringing it back like that. Kind of weird. I've never used it. I'll probably never shift from right there, but it is there. Other things, just weird storage-wise. This back there, you might not notice it, but it goes all the way back to there. Large storage space there. And here we have, of course, a mask because we live in a pandemic in our upper storage container. And then in the lower, a really deep tub that you can fit a lot in. As far as cup holders, we have 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 back there, with also a little tray back there if you wanted to put something back there. So the backseat passengers, especially compared to the Mustang, they've got it pretty good. We have one 12-volt cigarette lighter kind of port here, another one right there, then we have a USB port right there, and then we have a 12-volt wall outlet right there. Plenty of ways to charge stuff in this car. Volume control, tune, you know, all the usual stuff, and then all of this stuff. And that was our centralized button, so we'll go ahead and shut it off. And also, it says goodbye. I have to turn it back on because I have to show you that. So it flashes the Hyundai logo and welcome when you get in, then turns into your miles till empty. But watch this. I'm going to turn it off camera. Watch that little screen. My car tells me goodbye. One last thing, it's also just way smaller than the Mustang. A foot between this and the back of the garage, and yet still a foot up front. So I didn't really get a good shot of the front end. It has some decent headlights, and it has a different front end than the Hyundai Velosters because it's a Hyundai Veloster Turbo, so it has a different front grille. Little in cuts in the hood, but nothing really special to mention there. Yeah, overall, a very weird, very different car. Not a Mustang in any way. It's extremely different from the Mustang. There were people outside, and I'm embarrassed to talk to a camera in front of them. Anyway, very, very different from the Mustang. It's a hatchback, it's a 3-door, it's a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine versus the V6. it's just different. There's so many things different about it. And I've gone through all of those in this video. But with it sitting here right now, pulled up as far as the Mustang would be, the Mustang might actually have even gone a little bit further forward. We still have so much room back here. So it's also way easier to park. I know I'm saying plenty of good things about this car. That's because there's plenty to be said. But I very much miss the Mustang. Every time I drive this, I'm like, okay, cool, I learned something new about it. But I also learn how valuable that car was to me, and I never even knew it. I also didn't do many modifications to that car when I was planning on doing a ton, because I just never really jumped into it. I put, in total, probably only like $300 into mods, and they were just little things here and there. So, yeah, with all the money I saved on this car, some of it will be going into savings accounts, and some of it will be going into personal stuff for me, maybe a new camera, I don't know. But some of it might also go to modifications, because, you know, why not? I don't really know. I'm very mixed on modifying this car because it has a lot of modding potential, and a lot of people mod them, and I could get a good amount of views from doing so. Plus, if I'm planning on having this car for the next 4 to 5 years, because I'm probably going to take it to and through college, so if I'm planning on having it for the next 4 to 5 years, it might make a little bit of sense to start modifying it, have some fun with it, but at the same time, I'm not really sure because it's not the Mustang. With the Mustang, as you modified it, you're modding a Mustang. With this, you're modding a 3-door hatchback, but at the same time, it has some modding potential, and I've heard some sound clips of a catback exhaust on this car, way better. It needs an exhaust. I said that all the time about the Mustang, never got an exhaust. Maybe that should be the one mod I do. I don't know. Leave some comments down below. Should I modify it? Should I not? I'm not really sure. I kind of want to just keep it stock from the standpoint of what it is, but at the same time, I love cars and I love modifying them. And with the fact that I never really modified the Mustang, I feel like I have an obligation to modify this. Not really sure. Leave your comments down below. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I just realized I did miss one detail. It does have a sunroof. I did want this video to include some rolling shots of it. I never got rolling shots of the Mustang, and here's why. I started kind of weekly vlogging pretty far after getting the Mustang, so it didn't really make a lot of sense to do it. I wasn't introing a new car. I was just kind of finally talking about it on camera. At the same time, you see a Mustang at every single corner on the road. They're not rare. So I wasn't planning on getting rolling shots with the Mustang until I do crazy modifications to it, and it's mine. You would see another blue V6 Mustang that looks exactly the same as mine at every single gas station you go to. Obviously I'm over exaggerating, but you get the point. With this, I might get some rolling shots of it stock just simply because you don't see a ton of them, and it looks pretty cool, and I just want an excuse to do rolling shots. So if you want to see some rollers, comment down below, smash a like on this video, and maybe we'll get those for you. I was going to do those in this video, but I just don't have time. I want to go ahead and get this out there because I feel like I'm keeping it a secret. I have had this car for about 4 days now and haven't said anything to y'all, so I'm sorry about that. Been kind of just learning it and enjoying it. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Smash a like if you are ready for this. If you want to see modifications, blah, 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 insert reason that you're smashing a like. It's free. Also, our current subscriber goal is 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get there pretty soon, hopefully in the near future. So if you want to be part of that, definitely smash the subscribe button. It's free, it only helps out the channel, and it doesn't hurt you at all. And while you're down there, go ahead and turn on those post notifications, turn it to all notifications so that you get an update whenever I upload any video. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, turn on post notifications, like this video, and comment your favorite part. Also, comment about anything I've already told you to comment about. But yeah. That's it from me. I really hope that you like the car. I'm still iffy on it. It's not that I don't like it. I definitely like the car, but it's not a Mustang. And while I'm starting to edge on saying I love the car because it's a super cool car for what it is, it's not the Mustang, and it will take some getting used to. But yeah, I'm planning on continuing to vlog all the way through college and then into life. So the day that I get a Lamborghini, y'all will be the first to see it if you're subscribed and you have notifications on. So make sure to do that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Peace!